Catch us live on your TV screens.
You are still watching your favorite news show in the Southern Hemisphere. It's Ekse Live right here on DSTV channel 263. I know you guys are ready for this interview because I've been dying to speak to the CEO of Rocky Park Farm, and that's who we have in studio today, who's going to be talking to us about his journey in the agriculture sector rather, and how he has been challenging and championing the challenges that he have been through. But Sinelizwi Fakade, how are you doing?
Foundation yourself, Mushle.
I'm very fine. So, Puti, you are the CEO of Rocky Park Farming. Please tell us more about that and how that journey started.
This journey started as far back as 2011, 2010, where I was a student. And what I did was, because I was studying a lot of agriculture, I used to do a lot of vacational experience learning where I didn't even have holidays. I didn't even go home. I went to go and stay at commercial farms in the Eastern Cape, gaining experience without any pay and being a laborer, where I exposed myself to various practical technicalities of agriculture. That was the stepping stone. And over and above that, you know, obviously academically, I tried to study agriculture as extensively as possible, as well as rural development, which was my other passion. I then, through obviously, you know, many a submission to various financial institutions, I was declined many a time, and I just, you know, didn't give up. And through my experience learning, and obviously the farm visit, my mentor today, who's arguably one of the biggest grain farmers in the Eastern Cape, a white commercial chap, Rob Farrington, he sat me down and said, look, do I want to go farming? So I said, of course. And then he said, well, if you can find the funding, here's the land. And the rest is history, in the sense to say, you know, that was the story of 2019. I got access to this opportunity and the funding thereof. And it's been 3 seasons already at the farm. And yeah, commercial farming, that's where it all began for Rocky Park.
That's amazing. And now I think an interesting thing that I read in your bio is that your whole family, your mother, your siblings, they're all in this agriculture business. How did that come about? Did you convince them to join you in this line of work, or was it a passion that is shared amongst the family?
Well, growing up in the rural areas of the Eastern Cape, I come from an environment where I was a rural boy, I was a herd boy for my upbringing. And obviously in the rural areas, not everything is exposed to you. But the one thing that my mother had was a vision. You know, she felt that, you know, a lot of people, a lot of kids, her colleagues' kids are growing up and wanting to be doctors and nurses and collar jobs and aircon-filled office jobs. She said, you know, you guys are growing up in an area where there's land, there's a small livestock operation. You know, what do you guys think of agriculture? And obviously, being an obedient kid, you said, okay, Mom, well, let's go try it out. And that's how I started. I started agricultural education from grade 8. So it was more of a question that Mom posed. And ever since then, it's been a situation where we all just loved it. And today, we obviously in the commercial operation. What did happen is that when I started, because I was employed before I went farming for about 2 years in the private sector. And once I got employed, I asked my mom to resign effective immediately from a 25-year teaching career to go and pursue a diploma in agriculture. And I paid for the fees, and that's how we just built this mini empire.
I think ngesikhosa you are a true resemblance of ukubana xa kuthiwa kumuntu omdala okanye umuntu omdala xa ethetha esithi ukuzala kuzolula. That is exactly what you did to your mother, and that is amazing. So now I wanted us to go more into your farming. What kind of plants, what do you produce on your farm?
Yeah, so we are a grain operation. So when you talk grains, you've got maize, soybeans, sorghum, wheat, and sunflower. We are an operation that is operating or under production 1,200 hectares. And we're based in the Yugi Maclear area of Eastern Cape, Joe Gabi district to be specific. And yeah, so we're primary grain producers, obviously with a fixed marketing platform that we do for all our grains through the industry marketing channels. And yeah, we obviously, in terms of expansion and growth, we're an entity that's looking to be maximum profit driven, but also answering the question of sustainability and obviously growing those around us. You know, the farming operation is surrounded by Ilali, abantu abasezilalini, and I find it very important that if I'm to be a successful businessman or a farmer, I can't leave those people behind with regards to sharing the information and experience that I have. So that's what we are as Rocky Park at the moment.
Yes, and I think the farming sector is such an isolated sector. What importance do you think it is for young black children and young black students to go into the agriculture sector? Because of course, without food, the nation is going to die. We need the farming sector to boom so that we can sustain the nation. What is the importance of then more people, or the encouragement for more people to join the sector?
Well, there's a couple of things, Buhle. I mean, the first thing, you must look at the industry performance outlook across the country. You'll find that agriculture, if it's not one, it's not far behind being the top. I'm talking about an industry that carried the whole country through the COVID pandemic.
Yes.
I'm talking about an industry that didn't shed as many jobs. And I'm talking about an industry that's got more opportunities. A lot of people tend to overlook the power of this industry. And us as young people, we tend to find it to be on the dirty side of things, where it's not our kind of thing. So we find ourselves questioning so much wealth. Ekubeni, we've got land on our doorstep, as Lali. So who is answering the question of unemployment? You can't really depend on government to do that all the time.
Definitely.
Private sector can only answer to a specific degree. So we have got a serious mind shift that needs to happen in our young minds. And I will say young because obviously I'm still youth, but the most important thing is to say, how do we become independent economic contributors, not only to the province, but also nationally? We're sitting in a country where there's 40% unemployment. It could be higher.
Yes.
So most of those people are young people. So I do believe that our minds and hearts need to say to ourselves, how are we going to be sustainable citizens of this country? And for me, it's returning the soil. And I think that's where us young people, no matter how small, you don't have to be 1,200 hectares like Sinelizwi. Even if it means you start with half a hectare, that is a start. But the most important thing is, who is actually willing to knuckle down and do the hard work? Because you and I will know, this industry is not for the pencil skirts necessarily or high heels.
Yeah, and what market do you guys supply to? Can you find the products in commercial stores, in retail stores? Where can you find it?
Buhle?
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, it just keeps going on and off, but I hope you heard the answer.
Okay, yes, I did. Loud and clear. My next question was, where can we actually purchase some of the products, or rather the produce that comes from your farm?
Well, I mean, it's all over in terms of the marketing value chain of the industry. So you will find that, my maize, for example, is going to feedlots across the country. My maize is going to poultry operations of this country, the commercial ones, majority, because obviously there's a commercial offtake agreement that I have with big offtake or trade companies that deal with grain trade. And majority of the time, I've got a very minimal farm gate sale operation going. So I hardly ever do, in terms of cash trade at my gate because of security reasons as well in the farming environment. So I don't really do that kind of trade at the moment. But wherever you're eating a piece of steak, 8 times out of 10, that piece of, or that animal has probably eaten a bit of my maize somewhere.
Yeah. For people that want to now learn more about agriculture and people that want to follow the work that you do and the company that you own, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah. So Facebook, Sinelizwi Fakade. You'll find me on social media, and we can definitely engage on there.
Okay, thank you so much, Sinelizwi, for joining us on Ekse Live. Really do appreciate your presence here.
Thanks a lot, Buhle, and thanks to the team.
Thank you. Wow, that was it from Sinelizwi Fakade. If you guys do want to follow the work that he does, please make sure that you follow his Instagram, Facebook, wherever you find him on social media. I'm sure that you guys can learn a lot because he is the CEO of Rocky Park Farming. But from us, Okwangoku, we just want to take a quick breather. We'll be back with more Ekse Live.
The family catch us